It's fine, they can't.
Welcome to the May 5th, 2025 regular scheduled meeting is now called to order. Would you all rise? Say the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic that stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Shelley.
Becky Curtis.
Here.
Gina Reed Devlin.
Here.
John Breckenridge.
Here.
John Feiger. Mark Carr.
Here.
All right, that takes us to our first public participation. And the first one on the list is Russ Moncho.
Yeah,
Hey,
good enough.
I've never pronounced your last name. I was just here.
It's all good.
Customer.
Just roll with it. Get close. All right, first of all, I want to say I'm 54 years old. My whole life I've been told fluoride's good for your teeth. Never questioned it, never thought it was either drinking it every day. It's good in your brain, it's good in your kidneys, it's good for your liver, it's good in your heart. And then recently, last year, I started reading a lot of articles on fluoride in the water. So I started doing a little bit of homework on it. Plus, I got my medicine fact sheet and all the talks about the like that. Well, let's go back to the 30s, 40s. People's teeth were rotten really bad. Why? Because of sugar. The sugar industry, the sugar lobby. So they instead of saying, hey, let's get sugar lower, or let's fine them or make them liability for people's teeth rotting, they were the number one culprit lobbying for fluoride in the water. They wanted to offset the damage that their product was doing. Next group that got behind it was, believe it or not, the dentists, American Dental Association. Why would they get behind it? Because they don't want socialized dentistry. I'm a conservative libertarian. I don't want it either, so I can understand that. So they got behind it because they don't want government in their business. And then you had the aluminum and steel companies because they use a lot of fluoride. They put fluoride in the processing to make aluminum to bring the temperature down lower, and the fluoride would go up in the stacks. Fluoride get in the air, and it's a neurotoxin. It made animals sick, made cattle sick. So there's some facts a little bit. So from let's see, fluoride was also used heavily in the first atomic bomb. Pretty interesting, just fun fact. From 1950 to 1970, companies number one liability, air pollution, using fluoride. Fluoride was used in a lot of products. One of those little smokestacks in the old days got in the air, made people sick. Another little interesting, mothers that breastfeed. So a mom that breastfeeds and drinks fluoride in the water, when the breast milk comes out to the infant, it's almost completely filtered out. The human body knows fluoride shouldn't be going to that infant. The human body literally helps filter it out. Health problems caused by fluoride, neurotoxins. Studies have shown fluoride lowers IQ in children, learning and memory problems. The first people actually to notice this was actually in China. In China, believe it or not, they had areas where people had fluoride in water, people didn't have fluoride. They started to notice the kids, areas without the fluoride in the water, ended up being smart. They did do a lot of IQ testing of it. And then there's like 72 studies that's been done in the United States, and I'm gonna give you facts. And the majority of them, like 64, show that the fluoride in the water literally makes kids not as smart. Now it's good for the teeth, but it doesn't need to be drank. It is topical. You can today. There's really no reason for fluoride in the water because it's in toothpaste, it's in mouthwash. Hell, you can buy these little things and sit at home in the jail. There's absolutely no reason for fluoride in the water. Ethical issues, giving everyone medicine without informed consent is wrong. That's why the majority, I would say the majority, but a lot of countries in Europe do not put fluoride in the water because they said it'd be given medicine without informed consent. Like someone may want it, the next person don't want it, but you're making everybody take it. Here's something interesting. Under the Safe Drinking Water Act, enforced by the EPA, makes it illegal to add medicine to water at the federal level. It's one of these crazy laws. They got laws now. They're pushing it, and the states and localities do it, but they're not supposed to do it themselves. The loophole, state, local governments can do, state rights versus federal rights, all that, big bag, which I support states' rights, but you don't list it down. Now, here's what's interesting, where does fluoride?
One more minute.
Oh, we got 1 minute in?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that at time. I wish I'd known that ahead of time. Okay, where does fluoride come from? Today, it's a mixed bag. Fluoride comes from the pollution, because remember the pollution used to go in the air. Now they got scrubbers to catch them. So they catch the fluoride and they ship it around the country and they're putting it in our water. It also comes from fertilizer byproduct. So they make fertilizer byproduct. It's waste. Instead, they ship it around the country and you're drinking. Also, a lot of it is purchased from China. Now, with Trump's tariffs, maybe not today, but a lot of us you're drinking fluoride that's come from China. So back to my main point, there's absolutely no reason for fluoride to be in the water today. It's in toothpaste, it's in mouthwash. The government, which I'm gonna give you a fact sheet to back this up, the government's also said that most of the beneficial, if not all, comes from putting it on the topical, not drinking. Is that like that? Let me tell you two other things. If you have kidney problems, you sure the hell don't want to drink it. And if you got an infant, you sure don't want to give it to a bottle, because if you think the fluoride for the body weight, way worse than that infant. Fact sheet time. I didn't realize I had 5 minutes. I wish I'd known that I took it. All right. And also, I just want to let you guys know, I'm going to have had these fact sheets. If you really want to have someone like on Zoom, get a hold of Michael Connick. He's the lawyer that done the lawsuit against the EPA and brought a lot of discovery out on this, and he's brilliant. And he's the guy to have in. And
So why
Thank you.
are you bringing this to us?
listen, for you know what? I'm a pretty healthy guy. I used to have a certified organic farm in Belgium.
They got it.
Y'all got them? And I like to be healthy. I don't want to be drinking something that's a neurotoxin. I don't want to be drinking something that's not good for my kidneys, not good for my brain. But it's not as bad for me. People with children, this is not good. And I mean, like I said, there's no reason. I mean, you look at it, if you want to fluoride yourself, you can probably inject yourself with fluoride today. You can probably buy tablets, buy whatever. But if he doesn't want to drink fluoride, he shouldn't have to be forced to drink fluoride. If he has a granddaughter, if you don't want to have her have fluoride in her system, she can still have it on her teeth. Tell it's in the toothpaste, in the mouthwash.
Mr. Marshall, if you'll let me interrupt you, I think what the mayor was asking,
Oh.
what is the bottom line here? What are you asking?
Oh, I think you guys need to vote to take it out of the water. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, at some point, someone may have standing to sue on this eventually with all the science coming out. So I'm not going to sue you, but I'm just saying that someone may eventually have, because if you're basically force medicating someone with a neurotoxin, you're voting to do it. Someone's kid gets sick or their granddaughter gets sick in the future and they can tie it to it. There's more science come out. They may get standing in the future and be able to come bring direct lawsuits against you. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I think that's a pretty plausible thing that would probably happen. So I'm out of time, right?
You are.
All right. All right. Hey. Hey. I'll give you one. There you go. Wait, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, shall I thank you?
Mayor, Councilmember Carr, I think that every time for comment.
If I did.
Is that the end during council
Yeah.
comments
Yeah.
or public participation for public to participate?
Probably better I not comment at all, being a 40-year dentist.
Okay. Anyone else would like to talk at a public participation? Charlie,
Sure.
I've seen you back there.
Hello, Mayor.
Oh,
How are you?
yeah, got fine.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Charlie Zitnick, and I'm with DA Davidson, and we have been over the years financial advisor, municipal advisor, underwriter, structuring agent, placement agent, many things to the city over many years. And usually when I show up at a meeting, it means the city is borrowing money. And tonight is the exception. And this is heavily in favor of the city, 92% actually of it. But the city as a participant in the Wholesale Water Commission has been paying interest on the interim financing for that project, which I understand from Clark Thomas the day before he retired from USDA told me that the last easement on the project had been acquired about a week and a half earlier. So congratulations on that. But all to get to the point, and I will quite directly, we have a check to the Great Northwest Wholesale Water Commission, of which Cameron is 92% of, for $204,547.95 to assist. It's your money, and it's to assist in bringing down the interest cost on the project that you all are involved in. So
I didn't know that was coming.
there it is.
Okay, so I'm asking, so did this come from, our lending, the lender?
You borrowed interim funding on the project after Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust years ago.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I was around for that.
Okay, so was I. The city then, I think I'm doing this from memory, but I think it was like within a week of Steve's arrival, we got very good clarity on what needed to happen to finish up the Wholesale Water Commission project. And you were a borrower through the Missouri Public Utilities Commission, which the city is a member of, along with about 140 other communities in Missouri. And we established, in addition to what we do for the city, we also assist in managing that program, the Public Utilities Commission program. You paid interest in that program during construction, and this is a rebate of some of that interest because of how we managed the money when you weren't using it. When it was sitting in the bank, we were getting a higher rate than you were paying, and that is the rebate.
Okay, now that makes more sense. I was not following you at all.
So it's not there are no strings attached. It's not a grant. It is bringing down your interest cost for the term that you borrowed the money.
So is that to the city or the commission?
This
That's-
is the commission.
It's to a commission, but 92% of it benefits the city.
You.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Great, thank you, Charlie.
That's a fairly issue. Anyone else? All right.
This is mine.
Okay, we go to the consent agenda. Does anybody, are there any requests to move any items from the consent agenda to a regular agenda discussion? All right, the clerk will now read the items on consent agenda.
Item A, motion to approve the minutes of the April 21st, 2025 regular session. Item B, annual liquor license renewals. Walmart, number 109. Third Street Fusion. Casey's, number 1110. Casey's, number 1895. Dollar General. Shell Food Mart. There will probably be some of these at every meeting until the liquor license is renewed.
Okay. Already finished, okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 5 in favor, well, 4 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, that moves on to the appointments.
We don't have any appointments tonight. We should have some coming up soon. For planning and zoning and park board and code board of appeals. We do have openings on the code board of appeals and the park board that we need to solicit applications. You know, anybody wants to serve on the board? Send them to our website or send them to us. We'll get them now.
All right, that takes us to our city manager's report. Steve.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I had a couple of items. One, the radio station is back up. We used to have the Breakfast Club every Wednesday morning on KKWK and KRMN. And they had closed about a year ago, but they've opened up again. And so the DJ, Eric Meisner, is back again, and he's doing the Breakfast Club. Lance Rains and I were on it last week, and Tad Wilson will be on it on the coming week. And that's KKWK at 101-1. That's the Breakfast Club, and they're doing it now at 8 a.m. on Thursdays. So they record it, and then they play it again on that day, and they play it at different times during the day, because sometimes the Breakfast Club comes up during different hours. So they're back on the news, and that's a good way for us to continue to get information out from the city council. The second thing is the Friends for Fireworks, which is not a city organization, but an organization of volunteers, has raised enough money to put on the fireworks display this 4th of July. And so they've signed a contract with J&M Productions. And there's a little bit more money that they have to raise yet. So we pay half of it before the event and half of it afterwards, but they're in good shape to do that. The third thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about water distribution. We just recently had to dig down about 10 feet to dig up some sewer lines to fix. And one of the problems was it's just grease in the sewers, which caused the sewers to back up there. And what the water distribution department will tell us is we have grease in the sewers all the time. We put it out in messages, not do we put it out on the website, to not put grease in the sewers, and we keep having to dig up because of grease in it. So I wanted to add that again, that we should encourage everyone to not put grease in the sewers. And then a second thing on water is we have a requirement from the state to begin to replace our lead lines with copper lines, and that will be coming up sometime in the future. And many of those will be service lines that come from the main to the house, and that means that will be require some of the public to pay for those, the part of the property owners. And so that is a big problem that's coming down. They haven't told us how much has to be done, how soon, but they want us to begin replacing the lead with copper. And that is a good and healthy thing to do, because unlike fluoride in the water, maybe there's no question that lead in the pipes is a health hazard. So the state is working on that, and that's a project down the line that's coming up. And I just wanted to let everybody know so you get it in your mind on part of our long-term project. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to add is once again, this is my last city council meeting, but the farewell party that I'm hosting will be tomorrow at McCorkle's from 5 to 7, so y'all come. Thank you very much, Mayor.
I have a question for you. Who's going to take over? Aren't you a big part of the Friends for Fireworks?
Oh, well, thank you very much. It was started about 4 years ago, and it's turned over now. And we have Tony Clark, Melissa Pendleton, and Mark Baker. And I turned over the checkbook and all the ongoing funds to Mark Baker last Wednesday.
Okay, that's what
they're doing it now.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Sure enough.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Any council questions?
You, but I have a farewell. Well, hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we gather not just to say goodbye to a city manager, but to celebrate a man who survived 6 years of council meetings, budget battle, pothole complaint, and more coffee than any human should legally consume. Steve came to the city of Cameron 6 years ago, full of energy, vision, and probably a little confusion about what exactly he was getting into. But he quickly proved he had what it took: nerves of steel, a heart of gold, and the patience of a saint, especially when the Wi-Fi went out during those fun Genwick meetings, Zoom meetings. Steve, you left this city with dedication and wit. You've weathered storms, literally and politically, and still managed to smile, except maybe during COVID, because we couldn't tell because you had a mask on. But now it's time for you to trade in city council meetings for hammock lounging, PowerPoints for power naps, and department budgets for maybe, finally, a decent sailing budget. From all of us, thank you for your leadership, your humor, and for always reminding us that municipal government is a serious business. Just not all the time. So here's to Steve, May your days be full of peace, your inbox be forever empty, and may you never hear the phrase dangerous buildings again.
Well, thank you very much. Okay.
Oh,
And this is for you.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate that.
great idea. And I just have to say this, that not only what you said, Lance, but he always has a little story. He always has lots of little stories or little sayings that were so good.
About the military.
Yeah. That was the best. Okay,
Okay, thank you again, Mayor.
so that moves us on to unfinished business, which is the second and final reading of Bill 2025-11. Shelley.
Bill 2025-11, an ordinance for the city of Cameron, Missouri, authorizing a change in zoning district classification for property owned by the city of Cameron, Missouri, from a CMP, Commercial Manufacturing Plan District, to a PBP, Planned Business Park District.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-11 on a second and final reading by roll call.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Shelley.
Gina Reed Hitler. Yes. John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Biger. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes. That takes us to our other second and final reading on Bill 2025-12. Shelley.
Bill 2025-12, an ordinance for the city of Cameron, Missouri, amending section 9-39, article 2, excavations of chapter 9, streets, sidewalks, and other public properties of the city of Cameron Code to instead require flowable, self-leveling material such as flowable fluid concrete or mortars to fill in street beds.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-11. Is that what it is? I turned my page in. Well, on a second and final reading by roll call.
So moved.
Second.
This, I have discussion.
Discussion.
This is an important thing and does have a little bit of a financial implication. I think we've talked about it with each of the council members. We presented it last time. I think we're ready, but Tad, did you have anything you wanted to add to this now?
No, I mean, we was discussing the cost of what we, but after Patrick kind of filled us in on what that was about the going price on what we should be charging customers. Contractors.
Just saw the box of canned cookies.
And that goes to what again? What does the cost go to then for the
That's just,
permit?
that's just a deposit.
The deposit, yeah.
Yeah, when they fill, they'll give their deposit back.
And it goes from what to what?
2,000 to
What cost?
2,500.
Yeah, that's in a resolution today.
Okay.
Today's meeting. Any questions? Comments? All right. Shelley.
John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Biger. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler. Yes.
All right, that takes us to our last, second and final reading of Bill 2025-13. Shelley.
Bill 2025-13, an ordinance of the city of Cameron, Missouri, vacating the alley running north and south, located between Broad Street and Hunt Street in Fairview Edition, and bordered by parcels in Godfrey Edition to the north and an east-west alley to the south, all in the city of Cameron, Clinton County, Missouri.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-30 on a second and final reading by roll call.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
John Biger. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler. Yes. John Breckenridge.
Yes.
All right, that takes us to discussion. Shannon, come on up.
The thing that I wanted to say was that whenever new things come up, they're always difficult um, difficult to accept or difficult to work through. The statistic I know is 60 to 80% of people who come up have a new idea presented to them, have it uncomfortable, especially if it's complex. It makes them exhausted to think about it. It makes it a whole big problem. And the city has several things that you're working through that have caused big problems and have made it difficult to have changes and everything else. So with that, I wanted to make sure when I come that I am bringing information that's helpful to you. So proof of concept is something where you take a concept and you prove it. And the idea of a creative district or town is not a new concept. There are dozens and dozens of people or towns that have done that. And so one town I was going to talk about was in Miami. They were having terrible economic challenges. There were decline, unemployment, up to 55% in the area. Abandoned warehouses, limited commercial activity. And they started out in the 1900s with warehouses and manufacturing. And so it had just changed. Crime rate was the biggest crime rate in that area. It was dangerous, everything else. Then a couple people decided they would make a change and bring these ideas to this area. So what they did is they decided to start doing street art murals. And it was hand sprayed murals. And they eventually got to 35 murals. And in that growth from 2011-ish, 2011-ish, they were able to be a pivotal role in this growth. There's only 7,600 people in that area. And so it surged, tourism surged to 2,400% with 15 million visitors annually. I don't think Cameron wants 15 million visitors annually, but the idea is the proof of concept is there already. The only thing that we have to do is proof of concept for Cameron. That's the only thing. So there is proof of concept. Also, there's people in this town who do small businesses. I don't know if any of you've heard of Nicholas Wade, their business that started out in Liberty in her basement, and now it's a multi-million business. She's local, she's done it, Hamilton's done it. I mean, people do it all the time. The only question is, in Cameron, do we have those who can do it here? And I think so. And again, I'm going to bring up the artist that had the activity here. It was not me that was the artist. And wasn't a gathering in her house. It was an actual paid event. And she brought $8,000 in 2.5 days where people spent it at Robinson. So there is proof of concept to some degree in Cameron for businesses that are creative, for people who are marketing creatively, for that sort of thing. So the idea that we can do this, nobody can hear about my opinion, but there's a lot of other people that I've talked to who love this idea, who want to get on board with this idea, and want the city to be on board with them. And there's various reasons why the city, is a very viable idea and a strong partner with this idea. So that was just what I was going to talk about. And the fact that, there was one more. It keeps being talked about the signs, about water towers, and about paper business cards, letterhead. So first off, Hamilton's water tower, they have brought in millions of dollars. They didn't change their water. We don't have to do, we could do that. We don't have to do that. We can still viably move forward without that. Our Cameron sign, I went past it the other day, and you can't even read the bottom of the sign. And I've done that on numerous occasions. So I don't think that's a priority to change our signage. That's not the first steps in branding. And we can, in this day and age, you can do print on demand, your own business cards, your own letter. You don't have to get rid of anything. You don't have to order a bunch of them. So, and then the other thing is that there's a negative attitude toward this idea. And it's only 3 months old. And it's not costing me any money. And yet, I think if I read correctly through the minutes, there was somebody that you had for 10 years at $336,000 a year that you wanted to do this sort of. He may have gone about it the wrong way. maybe this is the right way to do it, where we have an identity that people want to come to. That we don't have to continually go out. Is there anything, any questions?
You mind if I ask some questions?
No.
Okay. So, you keep bringing up Hamilton. And Hamilton has a substance to what they're doing. It started with the quilting. And Alan and his sister got together and did that. It wasn't just like all of a sudden they came up with a concept and said, let's call it Quilt Town, now let's create the quilts. It started in the right direction. We haven't done that. We don't have an art district. We don't have lots of people coming here to participate in creative things. That's what you and I would like, yes. But the difference between you and I is I don't want to give up the nature of the town in doing it. There's some
Can I
real,
just respond to that one, so I don't.
well, let me finish this. So there's some real problems with rebranding. And I've given this a lot of thought. I spent a lot of hours on a bus last 9 days. And I just took notes. The first thing is we lose our authenticity. It seems artificial, this brand, new branding thing seems artificial. We lose our history, we lose our culture, and we lose our identity. I am not the product of a creative Cameron. And my family moving here, they didn't move here because of creativity. They wanted a job, they wanted work, they moved here for that reason. Secondly, there's a lot of public backlash. You say you visit with people that just love it, but you only talk to people that love it. You aren't going around hearing the things that I'm hearing.
I
And
talked to you and you don't love it.
I don't love it. But I do love a district, and I would be supportive. I would be helpful. I would be financially helpful. I would get my wallet out and participate in that. But I'm not going to give up my town for that because that's not what Cameron is. So the public backlash is that local people will feel alienated and disrespected, leading to criticism, which we've already had, and social media ridicule. People are already talking about that on social media, and that can damage the nature of Cameron. Cameron has an identity, and some of it's good and some of it's bad. And we don't need more bad identity. We don't want people to say there's that town that just changed their identity one day and they've got all these other problems that are going on. And that's what they do to counter that. That's not what we need. There is economic consequences. A poor or misleading brand can fail to attract the intended tourism or the intended business investments or new residents, or making rebranding effort a costly failure. You talk about, oh, this is free. This doesn't cost anything. We're not charging anything. Everybody here in this room is probably thinking something different. You can't get something for nothing. And if you want to rebrand, if you want to have this identity projected out there, it costs money. There is money that has to be exchanged in order to get that message out. Anybody in business knows that. And that part is yet to come. And, you know, you may say it now in this idyllic euphoria that you're feeling, but that is going to come. There is also confusion and brand dilution. If the new brand contradicts established perception, it can create confusion among target audiences and weaken the city's overall image. And that's exactly what I'm meaning. What we want is we want people to come here, but we want people to come here because they want to live here. We want people to come here because they want to build a business here and grow that business here. We want them to know what they're getting into when they move here. And I don't think people are wanting to come here so that they can have a creative experience in Cameron. that's a whole different perception. That's not going to bring people here. And so that's another issue. And the last issue is that of missed opportunities. By promoting an inaccurate image, the city may fail to leverage its strengths and unique qualities that could have made it more appealing and sustainable in the long run. So any of you that are trying to reach out to other people, other businesses, whether it be through the internet or whether it be through seminars where we're trying to support Cameron and sell Cameron, is they're going to feel cheated when they say, oh, wow, look at this. And let me tell you, there's nobody that feels more cheated than the people of Cameron when they drive down 3rd Street or when they take their friends down here and say, we want you to move here to Cameron. And they say, well, let's look at the schools. Okay, you drive by the schools. That's all good. Look at the golf course. That looks nice. And then in the back of their mind is, I hope they don't ask to look at downtown. And then they drive through that. Well, that's why they feel cheated. And they would feel cheated if you're promoting this creative experience that is going to happen in Cameron. It's not going to happen in Cameron. Promise you, guarantee it. But what you need to do is you need to actually do something. You need to create that creative experience. And I don't mean 14 people going to a meeting you had, and you were probably one of them. That's not the experience that brings millions of dollars. Because when you're sitting up here and you're talking about what are we promoting, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars. And I see people who are so unprepared to fathom the expenditure of getting programs started or getting infrastructure started. It just goes over their head because they've never experienced that. To them, it's just zeros. I would offer you this. I'll be 100% behind you if you pare it down to something realistic and achievable. And that would be having a district and promote that district. And I would support signage, and I promoting it through the city as something that's worthy of your attention. But I've gone to so many places, I've traveled a lot. I've gone to so many places and I think, I heard about this, but this is a dud. And that's what's going to happen with this. It's not going to be a creative town. And you say it's not going to cost anything. It's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. So that I will leave it at that, but I am totally not going to support this.
Well, that was a lot. So do you ever feel like this, if there's a creative district and it's strong and vibrant, then it could move out to the other part of town?
Okay, first of all, you're saying if, you know what? And that's what I told you that we can't do. You know, sure, yeah, let's have this wonderful thing. We'll just dream it to happen, but it's not going to happen. You have to make that happen. I started as a dentist in a little hole in the wall dental office with 2 chairs, and I always wanted more. And it took work. I worked 6 days a week till 9 o'clock every night. I saw emergencies. I did surgery out at the hospital. I did everything I could do to promote my practice. And I worked and I worked and I worked. And it wasn't until the very last years that I built a new building and I had a great practice with thousands of patients. And I had reached the point where I thought I have fulfilled my dreams. But I didn't start that way. I started by just working my butt off and having to do it that way. That's the way Manions do it. That's why every business in town is you don't start out wishing this to happen or I've got a dream. No, because that isn't what pays the bills. And that isn't what promotes Cameron. People aren't going to come here and say, wow, you have 14 people come to a meeting. That doesn't wow me. So, but no ifs, because this is real stuff. This is not dream.
Okay, you had more than 5 minutes. But
Pardon me?
I think you had more than 5 minutes.
I don't know that I am restricted to 5 minutes, am I?
No.
No,
Jeremy.
Not today.
no. You can
Oh,
talk.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. First off, you're assuming that a brand or any kind of progress in a town needs to be done one way. These
No,
things
no,
don't
I'm not.
happen in one. And you're
No,
saying
I'm
it
not.
won't happen. I let you talk.
No, no.
It is my turn. to talk.
Well, you're not gonna say things that aren't truthful.
There are ways that it does. And I've studied numerous towns before I even brought this to, because I didn't want to bring it thinking, oh, there's only one way. Towns are different. All towns are different. There is not one way to do it. There will be one way Cameron does it in different ways that it can be done. It will happen by a lot of different ways. But no, it absolutely can be done a different way than you are implying. So to say that it can't be done this way, or that it can't be done at all. I mean, you've already made the verdict that it can't be done at all.
I have
And
a lot of
that's-
experience.
And I know, we had this discussion last week, and you kept telling me how experienced you were and how inexperienced I was.
No, I didn't.
You
No.
never did. And you also told me you would fight me every step of the way.
Yeah, I will support you with
I know, you
the
gave me
district.
permission to do a creative
No.
district. You didn't give me permission to do it for the city.
I don't wanna argue with you.
You're the one who's starting to talk during. I am not saying we start with a creative town necessarily. It's gonna take a long road. Some of these people have worked on their towns for decades. And so, yeah, it could cost money. It could cost money 2 decades from now. But it doesn't have to cost us anything now. And you keep saying that it has to cost us, but it doesn't have to cost us, and we've done nothing like that. Volunteers do things for free. That's no cost, when people do things for free. You talked about grants. Grants take a long time. I'm sure you know that. They don't happen in 3 months. You said Hamilton started a certain way. They started with a little shop right there in the town. I remember visiting it. And it was, it was nothing. They were nothing. They didn't even have a plan. They just gave their mom a machine to make money. So then they thought, well, let's try this. Let's try this. So yeah, we could go that route, but why not? Why go the same route somebody else did when they struggled, instead of using information that's out there and available so that we can get over those hurdles faster and with much more strategic movement. We don't have to do the let's figure it out way. And you talk about it, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not like, if we do this, create a district or create town, then we can't have manufacturing, we can't have transportation, we can't have other things. It's not a zero-sum game. The idea is to work together. As I approached you last week, stuck up my hand to shake your hand and ask you if you would want to sit down and talk. And you didn't agree to that.
I don't see a need of it.
Well, that's too bad, because I see a need for everybody in this room to talk, for everybody in this town to talk. That's how you get past the disrespect or your ideas aren't valuable or anything else. It's when we talk. But you've already decided not to talk. You've already decided you're going to fight against. I don't have much of a voice here. And I'm still doing this because I think it can happen. There are many people in this town who are talented, who want to see things happen. Cameron has a economic problem. They look at our schools and agree, they're great. Some of the places are not so great. The potholes people complain of, it needs money to do that. If you have another offer on the table to be able to do that, then yes, let's sit down. But to say transportation and manufacturing is it, that is not it.
I didn't say that.
You have said it freely.
No, I don't remember saying that.
Well.
But there's 5 people on this council.
Mhm.
I've just said how I feel about it. So we're spending a lot of time with you schooling me on what you're wanting to do.
And you didn't school me.
That has nothing to do with it.
So you can school me, but I'm not supposed to school you.
I responded back to what you said. Let's not turn this into just a childish argument.
No, I have another thing I wanted to give the city council. And it deals with the second page, the second group of pages is The friend. The first page, I don't particularly want it public. I mean, if it has to be, it has to be. But the code of conduct, you have a code of conduct that talks about people are not supposed to, on your board, not supposed to have inaccurate or unintended to be intended to be misleading. It's not acceptable for a member to make derogatory comments about members, their opinions, their actions. Members shall refrain from exhibiting abusive conduct, personal allegations, and verbal attacks on the character or motives of other members of the city council, mayors of the city boards, commissions, staff, and the public. The professional personal conduct of the members should be above reproach. Members should conduct their official and personal affairs in such a manner that does not in any way suggest that they are improperly influenced. Members, to the best of their ability, serve the citizens conscientiously and with honesty and impartiality and courtesy. Members make impartial decisions based on consideration, analysis of facts, circumstances, merits, and laws of each case, without taking into account their personal considerations or opinions. Now, on some of this, there's been many comments about this, even though the council's not taking any money right now, not a dime. And so there was conversation you and I had last, and it started out very nice. I was just wanting to see if you wanted to sit down and talk, but it ended up not being. And you said you'd fight every step of the way.
I remember, can I comment?
Yeah.
I remember you came up here and you pushed this table back against me. And this council member made a comment about your behavior. And another member, another person in attendance came up to try to intervene, to keep you from encroaching on our personal space. And I think those people would say, yes, that's what happened. Now, I don't think that we need to be schooled in this way. We have a mayor that's conducting this meeting. And our mayor is in charge of everything. If there's something that happens or is said that's not appropriate, she will intervene. And I haven't heard that.
Okay, when I reached over, I have to say I'm 5 feet tall, my arms are on the bottom. If I moved the table, it was totally unintentional. I just simply reached it.
You need to reiterate all of that.
Well, you just accused me of like getting in your space and.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I'm saying, if that happened, that was unintentional. I apologize for that. Not what's my.
I don't think this has anything to do with branding.
No, I'm on to a different 5 minutes as well, and it does have something to do with branding
Not 5
because you also went publicly and said several things about me personally.
Shannon, go on to the next thing that you're needing.
Okay, well, I just want to say then, he's a city council member talking about a public resolution and saying things about me. Now, this is supposed to be a self-governed, self-enforcing conduct. So who am I supposed to go to when somebody on the council talks about council matters in public, saying things personally about me, which you see in that conduct? I mean, in that.
Oh, was this in the paper? Because I was trying to get through this.
No, and I wasn't giving it to you, but I just didn't want it out.
No, that's fine, but it was public. Is that what you're saying? Because
Yeah, the last page,
Becky.
Shannon, I love your passion.
I know you.
I nicknamed you Bulldog. I love it. Okay. I did that, but we're good.
I thought you
But
were good-hearted.
we're going a little, let's just, everybody kind of calm down and,
Well, if you will stop this,
okay, okay,
then I will calm down.
okay.
Is that why you're here?
Well, I was gonna do it later, but since we were on this topic, I just went ahead to that topic. I was gonna discuss it a little bit later. Because this is inappropriate to do, especially with the city branding topic, city statistics of the resolution. It's inappropriate. And I don't have anybody to go to but the council. And so I'm here before the council. Yes, I did go over bleeded summary branding to this only because it went into that. So I was just gonna do it again. So,
I don't think anybody's against your district. And, there's a lot of passion here on both sides, so. Everybody just kind of step back,
That's one thing,
breathe here a little bit.
Councilman Breckenridge and Carr and Mayor, that we neglected to do when we talked about the rebranding was we neglected to establish that district. And so I would like to see that come up in the future on an agenda. Do I have a second?
Well, that's what I thought we were doing on our original.
I did
vote. We
too,
voted for a district,
something
then it got
didn't quite
to
happen.
branding.
Right,
So are we,
Yeah.
we started down one path and it seemed like we went completely different.
I think that was just an accident of semantics on the.
one leads to the
Yeah,
other.
I don't think anybody's against branding. I'm not, we,
But
No,
could I get a second to eventually, get the creative district back on the agenda?
yes.
Is that in lieu of rebranding the whole city? It's like, we're not
No,
rebranding the
that's
whole
not-
city,
well, okay, so,
because I don't want both.
Well,
No,
what do you mean you don't want both?
Well, I'd like to have a
A
district,
district?
yeah,
but I don't want to rebrand the whole city.
Right,
That's
Well-
what this discussion was
yeah, that's
about.
about the issue.
okay.
Well,
Well-
maybe what you have to do is rescind the motion for rebranding and bring
At
one
this
up for
time?
creating a district.
I'd like to do
I
that.
think the appropriate motion would be a motion directing city staff to investigate and prepare the necessary documents to establish a creative arts district in the city of Camden.
Patrick, what do
Okay,
we
hold
do?
on. Hold on.
Sorry,
And is that my motion pattern?
it's just out there. It's anybody's that would want to
Kind of
claim.
what I was trying to
Motion
say.
for staff, can you please say it?
Motion directing city staff to investigate and prepare the necessary documents to implement a creative arts district in the city of Camden.
Is your original uh, Third Street down to your,
You have a map that I.
yeah, that original map, that's what you wanted.
Which can change
Yes.
the discussion.
Was there a second?
Second.
Well,
Thank you.
So when this document comes forward, it'll be drafted with a provision in there that all resolutions and motions not in line with it are hereby rescinded.
so that rescinds. the
That would
city being-
rescind the previous
Okay.
motion and
Citywide
direction.
rebrand.
So then it's up to the,
What we passed was a resolution to update the tagline. That's the only thing that I think that we voted.
we will reference that within there, and you all can discuss whether or not you want that section of the resolution removed, or you want to keep it the same so that it's both. That is up to the council when that gets on your agenda and before you to vote on.
I support that.
So I just, I totally get people not liking every idea you do. As an artist, I have critiques, some of them very negative. So I get people don't agree on the ideas, the way it's gone about, the way it's been done, the public information and attack, that's, I don't agree with whatsoever.
Well, I think that this is the way things go sometimes, and I've been in city council meetings where it got a lot hotter than that. And that's just the way it goes. This is business. And, sorry that you feel that way.
No, personal attacks are not business.
There are no personal attacks here.
okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. All right,
So we have the motions before the council, and that needs to be voted on.
And you,
if he
Joker
seconds,
second.
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the motion, for staff to investigate and prepare documents to implement a creative arts district in the city. I left out some of your wording.
We should, okay, we're just voting to put it on.
Yes, you guys are directing us to prepare the documents so that you can end up voting.
Do we mention rescinding the other one?
I wouldn't in this
So
because.
this is just getting something on the agenda.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all we're doing.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Or in favor? 5,
Whatever.
1 up. Okay. All right, that moves us to a public hearing of the Cameron Crossing Community Improvement District. I will entertain a motion to enter a public hearing regarding the Cameron Crossing Community Improvement District.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
No, wait. Mark Carr,
Yes.
Becky Curtis,
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler,
Yes.
John Breckinridge.
Yes.
John Biker.
Mayor and members of council, based on discussions with the property owner proposing the CID, he would like the public hearing to be continued to the May 19th meeting of the city council. That way, there's another incentive mechanism that is being utilized here outside of the community improvement district. That one will also, the documents will be ready by that meeting. So just do them all at one meeting, saving the developer and the developer's attorney and the city's consultants 2 trips instead of 1. The city council could do that by making a motion to continue. Making a motion to continue the public hearing.
Till 5/19.
Do you have that email I sent you written down? Because we need to specifically state it here.
Do not have the email.
So it'd be a motion to continue the public hearing regarding the Cameron Crossing CID to May 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible. Cameron Public Safety Building. Community room, is that what this is?
Public Safety
Public
Building
Safety.
Training Room.
Training room, 101 West Second Street, Cameron, Missouri.
What he just said, I make a motion.
I'll second that,
Okay.
whatever it was then.
Discussion?
Becky Curtis.
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler.
Yes.
John Breckinridge.
Yes.
John Biker. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Okay. So now we will, and I will entertain a motion to exit our public, no?
Well, we've
No.
already continued it.
Yeah,
You got
we
nothing.
continue.
Oh,
need
no
to-
exit.
So it's like it's ongoing until then. We didn't.
Okay.
close it.
So that means, gives us our first reading of Bill 2025-14, Shelley.
And I will have to recuse myself because this is about the Cameron Municipal Band. And I'm just about to start my 44th season in our municipal band.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I've never thought I'd live this
Some
long.
people haven't been married that long.
Shelley.
Bill 2025-14, an ordinance authorizing the city of Cameron, Missouri to enter into a contract with Cameron Municipal Band.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-14 on the first reading.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay, this one is pretty easy because it's exactly the same as has been in previous years. All we've done is just change the dates and the names.
All right, any comments, questions?
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a great tradition.
All right, all those in favor, pass the Bill 2025-14, say aye.
I,
All opposed? Passes. 3 aye. In favor? 2. 1 missing and 1.
One recused and one absent.
Yeah.
It was a close vote.
But it's passed.
You know, as musicians, we have to worry all the time because music and art gets cut.
Yeah.
First thing.
Fine.
All right. Next is first reading of Bill 2025-15, Shelley.
Bill 2025-15, an ordinance of the city of Cameron, Missouri, approving a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the city of Cameron Police Department, Cameron R1 School District, Caldwell County Sheriff's Office, and Clinton County Sheriff's Office regarding law enforcement services.
I will entertain a motion to pass first reading of Bill 2025-15.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. And Dan Miller put this together for us on the memo, but he would be out of town today. And so we've asked Captain O'Boyle to present this for us.
This, just some housekeeping, we have an MOU with the school we have had for several years. All this does is a little bit more clearly defines the roles on each side.
Does it tell what happens if it's not followed? Oh, dispute resolution?
If it's not followed, it would be the same as parent police department didn't follow through with something, state patrol didn't follow through with something. A complaint would be made, investigation would be outsourced. Measures would be taken.
Any questions? All right, we ready to vote? All those in favor of passing Bill 2025-15, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 4 in favor? 1 absent. That takes us to a full reading of Bill 2025-16.
Bill 2025-16, an ordinance for the city of Cameron, Missouri, authorizing the approval of the Ali Vet Clinic within the CMP Commercial Manufacturing Plan District located on Flat Clay Way.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-16 on a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Do we have all the paperwork, here in the process of this, of all the permits? Everything been
I don't know.
submitted?
Lance.
Yeah,
Everything's
they have
good.
been.
Okay.
Part of the problem that we had was they provided some, we had staff that had never done one before, and then those staff members left. And then there was a lot of confusion, and so this is once again cleaning up a problem that was our problem. Since this is out in the CMP area, there are
Right.
different items that you gotta take care of. So,
Water retention's good.
yeah,
So that-
stormwater has been approved. We didn't even know who that engineer was supposed to be. We found all that out. Got that all through, fed through planning and zoning. We did that last meeting
Okay.
to make sure that we had that approved. So we've gone through the final plats. Planning and zoning committee have looked at it. They've approved it. And so this is the final action so they can get back to work on it because they've been waiting for 3 weeks to pour concrete.
I know how frustrating that is and how much paperwork it is. And if you haven't built a building before or worked with the city before, it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
But this is a really nice facility to be able to add to that area. And I think it'll promote other builders to come in. Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
And Lance, can you explain again a little more clear why we're asking for a full reading here?
Because it was the problem of our staff not getting it done because the lack of staff whenever they quit. And so when we found out the problems had been made, that we had to fix those problems, and this is the fastest way to fix those actions to get them back on time.
Yes, we did. If we waited for another reading, it would just be another 2 weeks while they just waited for us to come back again, which would kind of just be a little bit of a bureaucracy.
They've been waiting to pour concrete for 3 weeks. They were ready to go until they were going to pour concrete until I said, you can't do that because we don't have the right paperwork. Which is words that you never want to tell anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. Anybody else? All right. All those in favor of passing Bill 2025-16, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and pass Bill 2025-16 on a second and final reading by roll call. I need to move.
We'll move. Second. Where's Flo?
Gina Reed Hoagland.
Yes.
John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Feiger. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yeah. All right, that takes us to resolution 2025-22. Shelley.
Resolution 2025-22, a resolution for the city of Cameron, Missouri, approving budget adjustment 1 for the budget year of October 1st, 2024. This is September 30th, 2025.
I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-22.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, Mayor and the council, this is the one which creates a new fund and changes two other funds. We've talked about it before, but I'd ask Carmen to explain it in a little more detail so we understand it publicly.
Good evening. This budget adjustment will clarify the availability and the source of the funds for our Parks and Recreation Department. Our original Fund 12 was created back when the property taxes for the parks was voted in many years ago. During then you fast forward to 1999 era, and we voted in the sales tax, the 1/8 cent sales tax. Then you fast forward, then you had the combination of ad valorem tax and property tax. I mean, that tax was the sales tax. Then we jump ahead again to 5 years ago, and we have the 1/2 cent sales tax. And that was, we used that to create two new facilities. And those monies were kept separate during the construction process. Now that the construction process is basically 90% finished for both the big projects, we are wanting to segregate the ad valorem property tax into Fund 12, keep it where it's at, and consolidate both the sales taxes and the park activities proceeds into a new classified fund of recreation. And this recreation fund will contain the personnel, the operations and maintenance of the park programs, and the debt service that the park system has, or we have incurred for the park programs. Then the Fund 12 property tax would be for future improvement or projects limited to the ad valorem tax, either accumulation or an annual disbursement.
Any questions?
And we just clarify then that Fund 20 will go away.
Yes, the construction fund will go away, and then because that was funded with the 1/2 cent and the debt proceeds from those larger projects. So to restate, we will have Fund 12, which will be the property tax, which is currently running slightly under $200,000. Then we would have Fund 15, which would contain the 8 cent sales tax, the 1/2 cent sales tax, and any park proceeds from activities such as pool gate admission, concession stands, league fees, or any other items like that. And it will take care, so the 8 cent sales tax is a capital improvement sales tax. And the debt service on the park programs, on the Old Somerville and the aquatic facility are eligible for that capital improvement tax to be applied towards that annual debt service. So hopefully from here forward, when we go to plan our budget, it will be a little bit cleaner and we'll be able to say, okay, here's the ad valorem, what's the suggested use of this, and here's the operations and its direct proceeds with tax and activity proceeds.
Good.
Any questions, comments?
I think this is something that the public is really interested in, and that we need to do our best to explain that, to make that clear. So that way there's no arguments out there as to actually what is happening, where the money's going, or what's being spent, or how it's being spent. I think whether it be through the newspaper, the radio, whatever.
Well, I believe the newspaper already talked about it.
I know they have, and it tends to be kind of a one-sided conversation. And I think the city needs to say, you know, we're the source of this information. So I don't think it should be misconstrued, because this is what we're saying. And that's what's happening, and that's where it's going. So I think we need to be somewhat defensive about that.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
Just to further state that this budget adjustment is the same topic that was discussed at our finance committee meeting at the prior to the last city council meeting. I don't have that exact date. But this is the same document. There's been no changes.
And I think you just have to be consistent about what you're saying. Just say, okay, blah, 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 blah. This is always the same. We're not going to elaborate. We're not going to have opinions. This is money, and this is finances, and this is as how this is handled. And so there's no discussion or.
And we're done doing construction.
Almost.
Not quite. There is need for additional parking out at Old Somerville. One or two of the playing fields needs to be completed, and the remaining funds we have available can only be spent out there, and they fit that need. So,
But essentially.
but yes, I mean,
We've got the money,
yes,
everything is
and-
done.
And
So we
they're
really,
using the fields, they're doing the best we can
so we
with
don't
what
need
we got, so,
construction.
correct.
I think it makes it a lot less confusing, and the budget is pretty confusing.
So hopefully this will streamline things and.
All right. All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-22, say aye. All opposed? 4 in favor, 1 absent. That moves us on to resolution 2025-23, Shelley.
Resolution 2025-23. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Cameron, Missouri, updating the comprehensive fee schedule for regulating and assessing fees and service charges.
I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-23.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
I created this resolution as a result of the ordinance that updates the code to the what did we call it?
Deposit.
Yeah, the deposit, when we changed the code for how people,
Flowable fill is that?
yeah, flowable bill. That's what I couldn't remember, but yeah, the only change on here is the amount of that refundable deposit went from 2,000 to 2,500.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of passing resolution 2025-23, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 4 in favor, 0 opposed. 1 absent. That takes us to our second public participation. Under the front, sign in. You have 5 minutes. All right. That takes us to miscellaneous comments from the council. Nothing. Marvin.
It's budget season, so we're gonna be working on looking forward into the future.
Ira, you've been busy.
Yes,
Look at his hand.
been quite busy. We got baseball season starting next week, so we started cleaning on the concession stands and stuff like that. Something new that we're trying this year is instead of taking the money out of town, we're gonna spend it with Counter Market for all the concession stand foods and drinks and stuff like that.
I like,
Plus, they can actually deliver it to us, so we'll save money, a little bit of money on cost of that. So they're real easy to work with up there, and I'm excited to work with them on that, so. The pool, me and my crew, including myself, spent all week last week power washing, cleaning, getting everything, doing some maintenance items, and met up with Agco Chemical, got them on board, got some stuff delivered, and we'll be on regular schedule for chlorine and whatnot, and got roughly still 40 to 45 applications. This weekend is the last weekend for certifications for all the lifeguards and stuff, so. And running them through the hospital out there like cattle for drug testing, and Rich Campbell's been kind of overseeing that for us, and it's been quite a bit. It's a lot of kids that run through there, so we weren't able to get everybody in, but Rich said that we could have other dates, make another batch to go through there, so. Hopefully we should be able to get everybody done and with that. And we started filling the pool today. So that's been, I won't get in, take too much more content. We got some issues, but we'll get it filled and then we'll take care of those in the fall when we drain. So, but, yeah, we started filling today, so hopefully everything will go good.
And did you say when the opening day would be?
We're still shooting for Memorial Weekend.
So have you been a yard certified pool operator?
I am now. I don't know if that helps with anything, but yes.
Wasn't that like a weekend on the computer?
Yeah, it was a lot of chemistry and water balance, chemicals and stuff. And yeah, I think what they call it, AFO, Aquatic Facility Operator. I don't know. I got some initials behind my name now. I mean, it's not DDS or anything. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn, though.
So did I.
No, it's going good, and so yeah, we're getting water filled up in it. Hopefully, we're on track with everything. So we should be good to go. Hopefully, with everything for Memorial Weekend.
I have a question about the ball field.
The ball field.
Do they get? I've had some parents come to me with their kids with ticks.
With ticks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they asked me if they get sprayed, and I'm like, I don't know.
No, we do not spray.
I don't know if anybody does. Anybody spray their ball fields?
Allison never did.
Is the Cameron ball field the one that lets you get tips?
No, well, this little girl, a couple of them, when they're showering after they get home, have ticks. But anyway, I was just a question. I did ask, so thank you for letting,
No, we inquired, Archer's Lawn Care about fertilization and spraying and stuff like that, but they were kind of expensive, and that's why we like to do it just kind of on our own. So I don't know if that was tick spray in there, but I mean, I doubt it was, but no, we don't spray them. And we have gotten a little bit behind on mowing and everything just because we've been working on the pool up there, but we should get back on that. Get ready for it. That's all I got.
All right, Lance.
Well, as you can see, planning and zoning, board of adjustment, housing develop, we've had some conversations with some housing developers on some larger plots of land to deal with. Been working with the CID on the Bob Griffin Road improvements. We'll have a couple of meetings on that tomorrow. The BB Transportation Transit Studies continuing on. We're going to have some meetings on that this week as well. And that's that corridor that goes from Walnut all the way past the business park. Got some inquiries on some new tips. So we'll be working on that. And then this morning, I've got some bad news for you. I know it's a shocker. We got the 270-page bid spec for 112 East 3rd. DNR informed me that there was no way that they were going to be able to get through it today and approve it so we could get it in the newspaper for Thursday. So that's, once they give me the green light, then we will get that advertised. But since they're the financiers
And this includes the phase one. I scanned through the 270 pages. Most of it's about the adjoining businesses and what is out there. I mean, whether it's asbestos or underground fuel tanks or anything like that. That's what the 270 pages mostly were, but it will go out to bid as soon as the green light comes from DNR. And we've got a new employee this is their first one, at DNR. So we will all go down that road, right, Charlie? That's all I got.
Or, yeah, Steve, well,
Ryan.
Ryan?
We'll be finalizing the Blue Shield application this week, which allows us to open up the grant. And Friday, we have Coffee with a Cop at Evening Coffee from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So if anyone would like to attend that, anyone has questions, I hope people show up for it.
Tell us what street news.
I'll just give you an update on the runway. The hijacker is running ahead of schedule. But right now, they're thinking they're gonna be able to get it done in 5 months, 6, and if the weather continues to stay nice, they said they're gonna be able to get it done in 4 months, so we'll see. And of course, street crews are still patching. And a reminder for the large trash drop off, the 17th of May at 8 noon, across the street.
17th,
That's all I have.
good times, good times.
Are the taxiways being addressed? Or is that,
We sealed those 3 years ago.
and it's still gonna be 1735 on the,
Yeah, everything's fixed.
and the dimensions are the same?
All right.
As Steve mentioned earlier, the water wastewater crews has been out doing extensive sewer main cleaning. Spent most of the winter without a sewer getter, when we had, was broke down, go out there and do one in. They have been spending a lot of time out getting sewers. And as far as electric crews, they've been doing some brush cleanup out, along the Reservoir Road and, out on Edge Road at the police shooting range. That's requested the county to take care of the trees along the road out there. So they spent a few weeks out there cutting trees. And now we're back in town on whole replacement project.
All right. Chris,
Well, working on, the IT master plan, waiting on the billing system and supporting the staff and the changes through the main changes with the staff. And City Hall repair. Trying to make sure we're ahead of that.
Chief,
Basically myself and a couple of other guys, we're remodeling for the public safety building. We've completed a remodel upstairs and the bedrooms that we've had. We've completed the bathroom, it's got a bathroom up there, it's completely remodeled. We moved downstairs, back in our weight room, bedroom's been remodeled back there. And we're now working on the highway patrol office. So we're partially through that. So that'll all be done. But most of the year will be done. And wanted to do this room this year, but it will probably be waiting for a year or so. Too many things, too many activities, and we don't look that fast.
okay, cool. Great. Shelley,
City Hall is gonna be closed tomorrow while staff head to the old City Hall building. Finish cleaning out our stuff for the work crew. Best wishes to Steve on his retirement. We're gonna have a cemetery board meeting next Monday at 11. I did have that on the appointment sheet because it wasn't yet at that time. I'll be out of the office Thursday afternoon and Friday for a board meeting. You can still call me, but I didn't in the office at those times.
That's it.
Well,
I'd ask you to go last this time from the staff.
Oh, from the staff, okay,
Oh.
okay, I was gonna make you last, lab.
You can
Okay.
make, you can make it last, that'd be okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Sure.
well, I wanted to thank Steve. I've really enjoyed getting to know him, and whenever I've needed something, he's always been Johnny on the spot and has taken good care of me, and I've always been impressed with his organization skills and how he has informed me of things that are coming up, and I very much appreciate that.
Thank you.
I also appreciate the staff because I know that all of you are under a lot of extra work and a lot of you are shorthanded. And the work goes on, and it's even worse this time of year with so many things happening in the city. It's not like it's middle of December or January where you really can't do a lot. And, you know, the council understands that, and we appreciate that. And we look forward to a time where you don't have to have those burdens that are really not yours, but you're doing a great job taking care of. And that we appreciate it, and we appreciate each one of you. And, you know, if there's anything that we can do, I mean, if I could mow, I'd be out there mowing. And I'm serious. I do that at the golf course. I grew up on a tractor, and I'm serious. If there's anything like that could be done, I do have a lot of time. I don't need to watch Gunsmoke all the time, so I'd be out mowing if you needed it. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, congratulations, ditto on Steve on your retirement, and enjoy that. On the other business side, we've rapidly got a June 5th date coming up on us, which is the 6th month of those buildings on the north side. And for the buildings right now are in the private sector, which I hope they stay, and we get a private sector issue of resolvement. But for me, I think in May, before June 5th, we're going to have to see a plan. We're going to have to see financing letters. We're going to have to see concrete things to move forward. But our June 5th date on the buildings on the north side are rapidly approaching. And we need to think about that. That's all I got.
It needs to be on the agenda.
Yeah, it needs to be on the agenda, and if someone, for us to make a educated guesstimation of where we're going, we need to see some concrete, a concrete plan. That's all I got.
Ann Clark was not able to be here tonight. Band contract. She's been our director for a number of years now. Of course, she grew up in the band. The band dates from 1866, and we do appreciate the support of the public. And we will be meeting on Thursday nights, and the concert will be at 8 p.m. with free ice cream from the Historic Society. They get sponsors for that, and a good time is had by all. The fact that we have 55 plus people coming in with advanced degrees and advanced knowledge, and incredible skills, I think is a privilege that not very many people. And I also want to extend my thanks to Steve for everything that you've done for us and things you didn't do to make things worse here. You should Well, some of them done things that made it worse. And so you've done everything you could to make things better. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, I just got here, so
I know.
I don't have a lot of other stuff, but I will say that the Cameron Dragons tonight came back and won the game. It was senior night, and
Who did play?
they played Lawson. And Lawson's a really good team this year, so they did a great job. Justin Simpson, Nathan Stock, Mike Russell, coaches, and the two seniors were the final two of the three were the final two hits and, SEMA drove in the winning runs. So they did a great job. This team is really, if you guys haven't had a chance, get out there and watch them. They may not win every game, but man, they do not quit. So, I love seeing that out of our younger folk. Also, Steve, I think maybe Becky and I have probably known you the longest.
Yeah, we voted for you.
So,
Thank you.
I hope that, hope you enjoy the lake.
I will, thank you.
All right.
I invite you all down for a housewarming.
I hear, are you kidding?
Yes.
I jumped right in. Talking about Steve, I hear he's gonna be picking up a hammer and he's gonna do a lot of construction. So building a house, so no more paper cuts and emails. So that'll be nice. And yes, we, John and I, saw you from Denver and we really appreciate what you've done.
Every day.
Yeah, we saw your interview and all that other stuff. So looking forward to see what SGR can bring our way, because they're already getting candidates. So, I want to thank you for coming, all that have come. And, that's really all I have. So Steve, take it away.
Okay, well, I wanted to thank you very much for the kind words and the nice gift and the nice things that the staff said. And Lance, I didn't know that was coming, so I'd like to get to that. And I thought one of the things that I'd like to do here, it's a little formal, but
Shelley wrote it, by the way. I didn't.
he has a lot more history than I've got.
We do you under the bus.
Yeah. Hey.
But then I thought I would conclude with quoting to you, Robert E. Lee's farewell to the Army of Northern Virginia. And he said it nicely, very nicely, and it's a nice way to leave. He said, with an unceasing admiration for your constancy and devotion, and with a grateful remembrance of your kind and generous consideration for myself, I now bid you all a most affectionate farewell. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Great. Well, I think we're going to be going into executive meeting, so I will now entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Attorney-client communication, personnel, and negotiate contract.
So move. Second.
Roll call.
John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Feiger. Yep. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler.
Yes.
Good night, all.
Thank you.